The audio is turned way down there. Alright. Hang on. Where's my controller? Gotta get it plugged in. There has been a slew of War Within content that has come out in the last 12 hours, 24 hours, something like that. It's a little crazy, actually. It looks like the embargo came down for the alpha, or at least some bits and pieces of it have been made available, and we've got a whole bunch of information coming out from a whole lot of different content creators. I've gone through a couple on the channel already, and I'll be doing some more. We might do some live today, but we might do them later. We'll see. It's been a chaotic morning. I had to go to the supermarket, and I got back and took a shower, changed the bandages on the cat, had breakfast, hung out with Chris for a little bit. And then, since I didn't get to stream this morning at the ass crack of dawn like I normally do, hang on, I gotta fix something real quick with my chair. The railing was a little bit loose. Anyway, Akazar says coordinating solar installed work stuff, but here in spirit and for the numbers. There you go. Woo! Well, here's what we're going to be doing, prepping for the War Within. So, obviously, there's a lot more information to look at today. I think I have set up over here. Let's take a look to see if I have the right tab open. I don't. I'll need to see if I can get that back up here real quick. There we go. There we go. I just didn't have the tabs open. So I have these open in the background. There's two videos in particular that I want to take a look at today with everybody. War Bands and the War Within. This is from Mr. GM. And then we've got Bellular's first impressions after playing for 3 days. There's obviously more stuff. People have been sharing stuff all throughout the Discord, so there's a lot of different content creators who have been able to release stuff into the wild now. So we're going to take a look at these, but before we do, I just want to talk a little bit about what our plans are moving forward, because we got lots of stuff going on with the Warcraft Guild. Hang on, let me tab over here. Alright, first and foremost, we are wrapping up Saturday. We anticipate wrapping up Firak and Dragonflight in terms of finishing, and we're done. Story-wise, we've done everything that the story has to offer. We've done all the seasonal stuff, everything else, and then Season 4 goes live on the Tuesday following. So we'll be up to current, theoretically, assuming no hiccups. By the end of this Saturday night, we will be ready to go. We might even do something like Saturday and Sunday just to finish it all off. We'll just take a look at where we're at. But the big thing is Tuesday is Season 4 patch, and we're going to be moving on into the Season 4 Awakened content for Saturday nights when we get together and do raid stuff. And then apart from that, I am going to be doing a Mythic Zero group on Wednesday nights, which I will be streaming starting from about 6 p.m. Central each Wednesday night. We'll play for 2-3 hours. So the new season comes with revamped Mythic tiers. So they've gotten rid of the timers for a lot of stuff, and the new gear levels are all adjusted, so we're going to go out there and work on getting some new gear for characters. And I'm going to be tanking for that group instead of playing DPS. So I have to make a decision, and I'm still on the fence about it. I'm about 90% leaning towards picking up my Protection Warrior and taking him through to gear him out. But I could also tank in bear form if I needed to. And my druid is already geared out. The only difference is that my trinkets are not tank trinkets. I've got Moonkin balanced druid trinkets. So I don't know which character I'm going to use, but I'll be tanking for that group. And that starts next Wednesday. So we're going to be doing those on Wednesday nights. Thursday nights, including tonight, most Thursday nights I'm playing with my brother and my nephew. I occasionally stream those sessions. I don't always stream those sessions, but we will be continuing because the big thing for my brother and I with his son, my nephew, is that we're really excited for Delves and what's coming with the War Within in terms of not just Delves, but the new follower dungeons. Because by the time they get to Dragonflight, we're just now with those characters I'm helping them. They're in their, I want to say mid-20s at this point. Like maybe 20, I don't know, 24, 25. They're still in Battle for Azeroth, so they're going to be all summer just getting to Dragonflight. And then they'll be able to get into Dragonflight probably around the time that the War Within is coming. And I'll be able to just go back with them, and the whole plan is follower dungeons and delves. So I'll be able to go through with them at their own pace, so I'm really excited about that. But as far as what we're doing with the guild, we're going to be doing Season 4 just like that. We're going to be doing Awakened stuff on Saturdays is the plan. And then Wednesday nights I'll be doing groups, and then I think that other people have different groups going on throughout, and then once we get to the remix of Pandoria, we're going to be rolling into that and doing that as like the last big thing of the year before the pre-patch hits for the War Within. And I think at that point we're probably going to bring back these Saturday and Sunday morning sessions like we had when I was doing the Horde characters a few months back. We then switched over to Enshrouded, and we were eyeing the timeline a little bit, and I think we're going to be wrapping up with Enshrouded by probably the end of May. And then right around that time will probably be the launch of the Panda remix. So expect to see more and more World of Warcraft on the channel as we get deeper into these summer months. Now that we're kind of past the lull and we're ramping up for the War Within. So that's the short version of what's going to be happening. Once the Panda remix hits, I originally was thinking I was going to do a High Mountain Tauren, but then hearing about all of these amazing lore snippets from the dwarf's perspective, I may end up making a dwarf for the Panda remix. I don't know yet. Just don't know yet. Let's go ahead and get in game here with one of these characters. Come on, Protection Warrior. We'll load him in. Before we do though, I want to kill the menu or kill the audio here. Because while he's loading in, we're going to tab back over. We're going to take a look at one of these videos, everybody. What's up, Christian Matillo? What's up, Chris Hiltz? To everybody who's tuning in. I am multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so you can choose where you'd like to watch. My schedule is going to be a little bit off today. I have been streaming early mornings and then coming back and streaming like 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I may not do a 1 to 4 stream today. Just depends on how I feel, because I had to go to the supermarket this morning, so I didn't do my morning stream. Therefore, I'm doing my stream now. We'll see how I feel later this evening or this afternoon. Otherwise, we're gonna go through and talk about some stuff. So let's go watch. Let's do this one first. Let's look at this lowdown on warbands in the War Within by Mr. Meister GM. Okay, get this maximized here. So this is a look at the warbands and the War Within with Mr. GM here. Let's go back to the beginning of his video.
Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about warbands. Yes, warbands in the War Within. So over the last couple of days I've been extremely lucky to be involved in like an internal test of the War Within Alpha, like an early look at the War Within Alpha. And this alpha is pretty bare bones. However, one of the major features of the War Within is fully implemented in this alpha, and that is warbands.
Nice.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. But
Warbands.
Before we jump into everything about warbands, I just want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Dragonflight, War Within Alpha, and more, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. Right, so yes, warbands in the War Within. This is a major feature of the brand new.
Let's take a look at this. Let's see here. New evergreen features, account-wide alt system. Expand the potential for arts with account-wide progression across your family of characters in the Battle.net account, regardless of the faction. Share warband. I like that. Regardless of the faction. That's cool. Share warband bank access, war within renown, achievements, collections, and more across everything on your character account. That's awesome. Horde or Alliance.
Expansion. This is essentially account bound everything. That is what Ian called it. However, it is not absolutely everything, but it is a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of potential here. Now, the word warbands is more of a term than an actual system itself. Like, you're not going to pull up a UI that says warbands or anything like that. It's just warbands is just kind of a name they use for a lot of this account-wide things. Now, one of the major misconceptions about warbands that I see so much is that warbands are only for characters that you choose. That is untrue. The warband goes across your entire account. Horde, Alliance, anything. This is an account-wide system and not something that you just choose a couple characters to be account-bound. Now, the reason for this misconception is
the four on the screen.
Of the character screen. Now, at BlizzCon, we did get a concept of the potential character screen for the War Within, but in the alpha, we have this login screen, and here it is. So, obviously, a little bit different from the concept, but
it's not that different from the concept. So this is what currently it looks like in the alpha. So you're going to pick the 4 characters that you want represented on the screen, although all of your characters are in the warband. So it's kind of like, on YouTube I have playlists, and I have to choose which one of the videos represents the whole playlist as the prime thumbnail. It's essentially what you're doing here. You're choosing your prime thumbnails to represent the entirety of your accounts. So this looks fine to me. This looks awesome. I love the tent. I love the table back in the background, the campfire. We could definitely use some more decorations, I think. Maybe make the characters a little bit bigger. But for, an alpha presentation, this is fine to me. I think this looks great.
Personally, I actually prefer this design. So just looking at it, it's a super clean design. On the right-hand side there, you can see a favorites list. Now, this favorites list is realm agnostic, so any characters from any realm or any faction can go onto this list, and they will be placed around the campfire. Now, swapping them out is extremely easy. All you got to do is select the realm and then drag the character up into the favorites list, and that will swap them out around the campfire. There's also a search bar as well, and you can remove the character list if you want a clean image of the characters.
Oh, that's even better, man. Be able to take screenshots
so if you
like
select
that.
one, you can rotate them to get a better look at them. But overall, a fantastic login screen. This is the first iteration of it, so no doubt it will have some changes over the course of alpha and beta.
Yeah, but
as a first draft, this is an absolutely phenomenal new.
I love the pet in the
background
too, man.
Warcraft. But that's the character select screen. Let's talk about some in-game stuff. One of the major features of warbands is a warband bank. Yes, this is an account-bound bank which is accessible by all of your characters. So the general things here is that it's up to 5 tabs. There are 98 spots per tab with a total of 490 if you unlock all 5 tabs. Now these tabs can be customizable with icons and names. They can either be assigned to a specific type of item or even a expansion,
There's a
be
region
it current
bank too.
or legacy. Now to unlock these tabs, you will need to buy them with gold. So these numbers are obviously subject to change as it is alpha, but the first tab will set you back 1,000 gold. The second tab you unlock will be 25,000. The third will be 100,000. The fourth tab will set you back 500,000 gold, and then the final 5th tab will set you back 2.5 million gold. So once you have all of those unlocked, it's going to cost you a lot of gold, but that is account wide. So, if you unlock it on one character, it's going to be unlocked on all of those characters. It's not per character or anything like that. Thank goodness. Nobody has that kind of gold. Speaking of gold, you can deposit gold into the warband bank, which is really nice. So if you have a character on a different realm with a bunch of gold, you can deposit it into the bank and then withdraw it on another character, which is cool. You can also put reagents in here and use those reagents in here. So if you have a crafting character, you can dump a bunch of reagent stuff in the warband bank and use it on your other alts, which is super great.
I want to pause here for just a second because if you didn't catch the video yesterday, which is the one they launched on the Warcraft channel, I did cover that. It was everything you need to know about the War Within. And they talked about the new crafting. It's essentially the same crafting system as Dragonflight, which is fine, but what they've added is NPC crafting quests so that you no longer have to do work work orders, if I can learn how to speak. You no longer have to do those to help level up in between. You can now go to the NPC, do NPC work orders and quests, and work your way up that way, which is amazing. And more games should do that because I loved it in like Vanguard Saga of Heroes had it. EverQuest 2 has work orders. Oh, I can't think off the top of my head of any other games right now that do work orders like that for the crafting system. I'm sure some of you have played other MMORPGs. You can drop those in chat. Um, anyway, being able to put everything into a regent chest that can be pulled from by all of the characters in your account, regardless of where they're at, and have that be a shared bank for all the regents that you're harvesting, that is freaking amazing. Because as someone who traditionally, like, I haven't gone whole hog with it here because I was coming in into Dragonflight, but like if you've watched my channel for any length of time, all my Lord of the Rings Online streams, all my Star Wars Republic streams, etc., I have like every crafting profession like maxed in those games. Because I've played them for so long, and I like crafting and harvesting a lot. So I was holding off on doing it in Dragonflight because I knew that the War Within was coming and the changes that were going to be happening. So I just was waiting for those changes to take place. So looking ahead, I'm really looking forward to going whole hog into crafting as well as adventuring in the War Within. I think you'll be able to see the full, just it'll be as I'll be going as in deep as I've gone into like Star Wars: The Republic and Lord of the Rings Online over the years. I'm really enjoying World of Warcraft, and the War Within is shaping up to be really special in terms of all that shared access across
One
the
other thing to
accounts.
note with the Warband Bank is that there is actually a brand new toy. This is called the Warband Bank Distance Inhibitor. This toy allows you access to your Warband Bank for 10 minutes from anywhere,
Oh,
but
wow.
it does have a 3-minute cooldown.
No, that's not 3 minutes. That's 3 hour cooldown.
Way to get this toy is to reach a maximum level of 80 with 2 different classes, and you can actually reduce the cooldown by reaching a maximum level with 3 different classes, and you can reduce that even more by reaching the maximum level with 5 different classes.
So they're essentially telling you, here's war bands. The more characters you level up, the more perks you're going to get. Have fun with your alts. I have nothing against this policy. That's awesome.
So basically, level a bunch of alts, and this Warband Bank toy will have a much shorter cooldown. But that's the Warband Bank. Going to cost you a lot of gold, but to kind of start it off, it's not too bad at all. I think this is just great. I really can't wait to use this. I think it's just going to be fantastic. There's also a new like Warband until equip item type that's going to be dropping around the War Within, and that could be.
I think those are going to start during pre-patch, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe those are just when it goes live. But it says Warbound until equipped, so it's essentially, and then once it's equipped, it becomes soulbound. But until that point, you can share it between anybody in your warband. That's pretty cool.
Be put into your Warband Bank, and then obviously once your alt uses it, that will become soulbound. So that's a really good use for the Warband Bank.
Dude,
but
that's gonna be so awesome because it's like if I go, like let's just say I go do a dungeon with, these 5 people on Wednesday nights, and I'm playing my tank, right? But while I'm there, a hunter item drops, or I loot a hunter item, right? And traditionally, maybe you would give that to somebody. If nobody needs it, then you vendor trash it. But now instead of vendor trashing it, I can look at it and say, oh, I could use this for my alt over there. So I'm just going to stash this in the Warband bank, and now he can use it. Like, even though, because a lot of times you'll get the thing that says you can only trade this with your group members. Now you'll be able to do that within your Warband, which is really freaking amazing.
Features of warbands in the War Within. Moving on into the next thing that's going to be account bound from the War Within pre-patch, and that is reputations. Now there is a little bit of a misconception here with this one that it's going to be all reputations. That is not the case from the War Within pre-patch. However, with the pre-patch, we will be getting account-wide reputations for the War Within factions and all of the Dragonflight factions, including the Cobalt Assembly and the Azerothian Archives, which is fantastic. That was kind of teased at BlizzCon, and they weren't sure if they were going to get it done, but it looks like as of the alpha, the Dragonflight reputations will indeed be account-wide. So the way that this works is...
So I'm going to go back to that really quick. Well, I'll let him finish. No, I do need to go back and listen to something here. Hang on.
And all of the Dragonflight factions, all reputations and that is reputations. Now, there is a little bit of a misconception here with this one that it's going to be all reputations.
Right.
That is not the case from the War Within pre-patch. However, with the pre-patch, we will be getting account-wide reputations for the War Within factions and all of the Dragonflight factions, including the Cobalt Assembly and the...
That makes sense. So they're essentially saying, with the launch of the War Within, everything, Dragonflight, which is now our leveling expansion, that's going to be the new default. Right now, the default is Battle for Azeroth, right? So when War Within comes, the default becomes Dragonflight. So everything from Dragonflight and beyond is shared. Now, I don't know if he's going to address this here in a minute, if that means that the faction you have already is shared, or only from that point onwards it's now shared. I don't know exactly. Let's see if he says anything about that.
Azerothian archives, which is fantastic. That was kind of teased at BlizzCon, and they weren't sure if they were going to get it done, but it looks like as of the alpha, the Dragonflight reputations will indeed be account-wide. So the way that this works is that once reputation has been rewarded to a character, you cannot get that reputation once again. So if you're getting it through like the campaign quests and things like that, your alts will not get any more rep because that rep has already been given. That includes like world quests as well. So if you do a world quest that gives rep on a character, any other characters you do it on won't give reputation. It'll give something else like gold or currency or something like that. Now with quests, it actually does tell you whether or not your warband has done this quest previously and has a brand new icon to indicate as such, which I really like a lot. It's just a really interesting take on account-wide reps. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work as we go through alpha and beta testing, but as of this first alpha build, it seems like it's very much laid a lot of groundwork here for account-wide reputations, and I would love to see this continue into a lot of older legacy reps like Shadowlands, Legion, and things like that. They have said the plan is to work backwards, so the next one we will see is Shadowlands reps going account-bound, but again, something for later on in the War Within, but from pre-patch we will have Dragonflight and War Within reps completely account-bound, which is extremely exciting.
That's very good to know, though, for the people who are wondering about things like Cataclysm and Panda and all those older reps. So those are definitely not going to factor in yet, but they do plan on working backwards. That makes total sense to me. So I was telling people this the other day. It's like everyone wants follower dungeons to be everywhere immediately because, damn it, I want them everywhere. And it's like, well, it's a lot of engineering to get those in the first place. And it's not so simple as to just go backwards and say instantly snap a finger. Every dungeon that's ever been installed in World of Warcraft is suddenly magically a follower dungeon. It doesn't work like that. So the priority is Dragonflight, which is the new leveling experience for the World Soul Saga, which is the next, arguably 3 to 4 years of World of Warcraft. And once that's out there in the wild and things are moving forward, they can have a team drop back and work on implementing things back into older expansions. So it's all going to come around at some point, but it's good to finally have confirmation of how they're doing this.
Next up, let's talk about Warband achievements. As of pre-patch, we will indeed have account-bound achievements. So basically, all of the achievements in your achievement tab will be account-wide. So if you have characters that you've kind of done half on one and half on the other, those will be combined once you've logged into those characters for the first time.
Sweet.
Once the pre-patch launches. So that's super good. It's, obviously we've had account-bound achievements previously, but now it looks like the majority of the achievements in the game will be account-bound. Now, it was confirmed.
Now, it's really cool here, as you say, because he said if you've done half on one and half on the other, it'll combine the two when the pre-patch happens. So if you've ground out 3,000 rep on one character and 7,000 rep on another, you're going to have 10,000 rep combined. That's really cool that the system's going to go through and automatically combine all of those together for you, because it means that it doesn't matter where your alts were. It'll just take all that and push it into one place for the account bound. That's pretty cool.
That like class specific ones will not be account bound, which makes a lot of sense, but basically every achievement is going to be a warband account bound achievement, which is fantastic. One thing I do want to mention about achievements that I did find through the data mining, so there is a new achievement called One Warband Mentor the War Within. The achievement requirement for this is to get level 80 with one character, and the reward is 5% additional experience up to level 80. Now, digging through the data here, this does actually have multiple levels, so if you get...
Now, this was data mined. I don't know that it's necessarily been confirmed. I've seen some other people talking about this. You're going to be able to get a 25% experience bonus to your characters up to level 80 if you've leveled 5 characters in your warband. But it's just, if this is true, and this is actually there, that's a massive incentive to level up alts because each alt's going to go faster and faster. I mean, it's kind of like the heirloom thing, but I wonder if this stacks with heirloom, actually. That's going to be a very interesting question, too, if that stacks with the
Two
heirloom XP
characters to
bonus.
level 80, it's 10%. If you get 3 characters, it's 15. If you get 4 characters, it's 20. And then if you get 5, it's 25. Now, the wording here makes it sound like it might stack. I'm not really sure. It says additional experience, so I'm not sure if this is just going to be a straight 25% boost, or it's going to keep totaling up to a total of 75. That's something we'll find out, obviously, once we get into like beta, when we can get max level character pre-mades and things like that.
Nice.
But this is super exciting. An XP boost for all of your alts from getting more characters up. It seems like a win to me, but yeah, let me know down below what you think of this. It could be pretty interesting. I don't play a lot of alts, but of course, you know, it'll help people that do. But yeah, achievements looking really great in the War Within. The next feature is by far my favorite. Now, I think I've said that every single time, but this is the one. This is absolutely the best feature of Warbands. I wish we had this right now. It is amazing. So from the pre-patch of the War Within, on any character, you can collect any other armor type and weapon to your collections.
Transmog for the win. This is like the true end game for everyone, right? And I think this is going to blow the transmog community up in World of Warcraft. It's going to make it so much cooler because you're going to be able to get all sorts of different stuff now. Oh, it's going to be so cool.
Even if you can't equip this armor or weapons, these can be collected on your character. Now, the way that this works is that if you have like an armor piece you can't wear at all, you can just sell this to a vendor, and that is going to add it to the collections tab. Now, the kind of elephant in the room here is class sets. Now, it doesn't seem like, as of this build of Alpha, you can collect other class sets. So, for example, when I ran Molten Core, I had another class set drop, and I was unable to collect that set. But any other item or weapon type, I was able to collect on my hunter, even though I couldn't equip it. Now, what's really cool here as well is that the collections UI has had an update.
Oh,
you
nice.
can actually view other class appearances to see how you're doing in regards to collection, even if that is not your main class. I love that a lot. It's just such a simple change, but it is really cool to kind of scroll through the warrior sets on a hunter just to have a look what is coming and what, you know, you've collected so far just from all of your transmog runs. So this is a huge change. Really excited for this. As said, I wish we had it now, but yes, as of the War Within, you can collect other armor types and weapons, even if you cannot equip them. So
everybody's going to be going crazy with transmog.
Warbands. Another thing you can expect to go account-wide is a new feature of the War Within, and that is delves. So all of your progression on Bran, like leveling him up and things like that, and all the abilities and gear he has is going to be account-bound through the Warband system in the War Within. So really good to see that the Warband system is something they're planning to continue, and hopefully, you know, into the patches of War Within, we'll see everything just continually being account bound going forward. So yeah, delves, account bound, perfect. So just a couple little extra things here with warbands. Flight paths are going to be account-wide as of the War Within. So if you have all of the flight paths unlocked on one character, any of your future alts will have all of these flight paths already unlocked. There's also a new little, you know, animation when you unlock a flight path as well. So I'm a big fan of that. Love little stuff like that. That's super fun. And finally, in regards to kind of exploring the map, there is actually a new toy.
Reveal maps of the regions that have been fully explored by a member of your warband. Reveal all maps of regions that have been fully explored by a member. Okay.
This is the Warband map to everything, everywhere, all at once. So the description of this is to reveal all maps of regions that have been fully explored by a member of your Warband. So this is really cool. This is going to set you back 10,000 gold and is sold by the heirloom vendors in Orgrimmar and Stormwind. Very simple item. This is kind of a combination of the scouting map items we've had over the years. So a really nice quality of life toy there that you just want to purchase straight away if you want to get those maps explored.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Sure.
You know, I think obviously I would imagine they probably had the idea of having maps fully explored from the get-go, but people do like flying around and exploring maps even on alts. So yeah, a good little choice there for your characters if that's something you want to do. But yes, that's it. That is Warbands in the War Within, guys. We are in Alpha now, officially in Alpha. Nice. We are going to be covering this Alpha from head to toe, into beta, into launch. I'm super excited to cover this since BlizzCon. Guys, please let me know down below what you think of Warbands in the War Within.
I'm loving it.
Please do leave a like on this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. We're going to be covering so much on this channel, so please subscribe to be up to date with everything going on. But
so that's Mr. GM. I've already left him a like on the video. When I push this out as this independent episode, I'll have a link down below for those of you who want to go over and give him a like as well and watch this video. Totally worth it. I can't wait. That's essentially warbands. I think is what was the number one thing that made me excited about what was coming down the pipeline for the World Soul Saga. When I was watching the BlizzCon thing, I had no interest in Warcraft up to that point, and then they mentioned warbands, and I went, "Oh, hold on a second! Like that's actually something that I look at the in totality of that with the delves and the follower dungeons and everything else. It was just it's becoming a game that's just so accessible and so it's modernized and it has the engineering behind it that a lot of the older MMOs haven't managed to do yet. That makes it very appealing. It's a lot of fun to play. I've been having a very good time, so I'm excited by that one. So that's that video. The next one is this one by Bellular, which is he's played World of Warcraft War Within Alpha for 3 days here. Hang on, I gotta hop in game real quick and check my mail. I got to check my mail. All right, we're good. And let me check the applicants page because I had somebody ping me earlier that they had put their alt in. All right. Let's take a look at this one. This is Bellular. And this is his first impressions video of the War Within Alpha.
Oh, today is a pretty exciting one because the War Within. I've been playing the alpha for a few days, Matt has been playing the alpha for a few days, we've put all of our thoughts together, so today it is time to talk about impressions of the War Within so far, based on some actual
I've not
gameplay.
heard anything
Tomorrow,
bad so
far. We've got a big video coming on a bunch of just pretty damn cool features, lesser known things, and I've got an interview with Holly dropping on Friday. All pretty cool, but let's just get straight into things with the opening. So, the alpha plops you straight into Kaz Algar, which is, well, into the Isle of Dorn, which basically is the first zone. It's the above ocean, like, overall island, with the other zones being underneath it. And it's clearly after stuff has went down. It really seems that Xal'atath has just handed our asses to us big time. A notable character may in fact be dead. I'm kind of holding out hope that it's a fake out, but I actually think even if that character is dead, I think that actually could work for the narrative quite well. Of course, given cinematics, cutscenes, all of that flair, I think that this stuff could be pretty great. Now, at the very least, right, it does not look like a sleepy open. It seems that the expansion is getting properly right into it.
So straight into the action. So that's kind of cool to see.
Fair, right? That's fine to me. But what I wanted to see was an improvement in the fantasy, the tone, the feeling, right?
Exactly,
What are
Troy.
they actually achieving via those quests? So,
Chris just says, "Can I join your guild?"
Feel like
If you,
Dragonflight?
all you got to do is reach out on Discord.
Technically a really
We can get
good
you
expansion, but it felt
invite into the guild
seasoned
server and you can fill out an
strangely,
application.
right? Like if it was meant to be salt and pepper, they accidentally swapped the salt for sugar and it didn't taste quite right. So, with a weird food analogy done, how does it feel? Well, obvious caveat first, getting a full handle on questing is hard here. Like, we know a few beats from the first zone, essentially. There's no music, the vast majority of VO is not there. I will say, what I said, I liked. I'm not going to talk about spoilers, but I do get Start of Legion vibes in that shit goes down. You're immediately beset by Nerubians, and the Nerubians
Dude, that's
are
awesome. Like an
constantly going after you
action-packed
through the
intro.
zone story, right? So we secure our position, right? You meet plenty of heroes you'll know. You meet the Earthen, and very soon you're continually getting messed with, right? People die. The threatening force actually succeeds in their goal a fair few times.
Well, and if you listen to what Ian was saying during yesterday's presentation of everything you need to know about the War Within, he talked about how these bad guys, the Nerubians, are if you remember, they showed up briefly in I think it was Lich King, but he was saying how they used to be one of the world's superpowers. Like they were up there with high elves and so on and so forth. It's just that they suffered, they got overrun during a war and they've sort of fell off the map, but they haven't ever gone away. They've just been reduced and over here doing other things. And now they're coming back with the force. And so it's like, if you could imagine high elves having had a peak and then they had a fall, but then they're coming back up to a peak again. That's essentially what we're seeing here. So them being a threat, it's not meant to be just another threat. This is like, oh, this is another major race that could impact, the entirety of the world as we know it. It sounds great on paper, but we got to see how it plays out in game.
So the combination of Xal'atath and the Nerubians so far is immediately working really well. And the opening impression for me is that of a sharp-ish departure from Dragonflight, or at the very least that they want to be more clear with threat. Now, to touch on the results, we haven't played them, but the Arathi are in an overt, like, life and death struggle over the Nerubians. It also seems the Arathi being there is kind of a surprise to everybody. They've also got some internal divisions, and looking at them, they do feel very core Warcraft, right? That's one of the things I really, going into this, wanted to know, would it feel like core Warcraft? Thus far, it's definitely more on track, so that's good. Now, that's not to say that it's one note. There are plenty of nice character moments. I think some side quests that are covering, like, good thematic ground. They're maybe a little bit too quick for my liking, but basically pretty good stuff. It's too early to tell for the overall thing, but really what matters to me is follow-up. I mean, as an example, when I tested Dragonflight, we went straight into a massive fight between the Kirin Tor and the Primalists, only for that to just kind of fizzle out.
Yeah, it just went away.
For the expansion to feel like it was lacking that solid through line as expressed by the boots on the ground narrative. Now look, they could obviously cock it up, and somehow the later zones could be terrible. I don't really get that vibe so far, though, and if the Nerubians at the start are anything to go by, then certainly by the time we get to Azj-Kahet, I think some pretty real shit will be going down. Really, my core worry was, like, would this feel like Warcraft? Would this be more of the sort of overly saccharine, pulling its punches Dragonflight stuff? Thus far, no. Which I'm really, really happy about. And
sounds awesome.
A little bit of real talk. I've got a really nice microphone coming, so our videos sound better, and it was paid for by today's sponsor, Boot.dev, who we work with because their founders are fellow viewers of the channel. So here's the deal. They will be teaching you programming. They're a programming RPG that makes learning back-end development fun. They've got quests, levels, achievements, a global leaderboard to keep it spicy. They've even got a new implementation of raid bosses. But code Bellular at boot.dev/Bellular gets you 25% off your first payment. And of course, there's beans to be made. It's back-end development. US back-end devs earn over 100 grand a year median salary per Stack Overflow. And being a programmer, you generally have pretty damn terrific options with working from home and that kind of thing. Now, Boot is specializing in back-end development using Python and Go at your own pace. Their mission is basically to avoid tutorial hell and to get you just coding, and that's what their platform is entirely geared toward. And just going through the various topics, I mean, you can see for yourself.
I mean, if you want to program, go for it.
Boatload of content.
I've never had the desire to do programming.
And then, credit to them, they go properly in depth. And
I've focused on creative endeavors for years and years and years and years. One-stop shop. I have had to learn a lot of hands-on stuff like video editing,
and instead
PHP development, some basic HTML back in the day to get websites up and running.
That is all
lots of tools over the years, different engines for game development, Photoshop,
and their Discord is
Canva. You got to learn shit if you want to be self-employed.
Honestly, it slays how I learned programming, and again, you can get started today with 25% off your first purchase following my link using code Bellular at boot.dev/Bellular, and of course, 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee, and so on. All right, cheers, Boot are an awesome partner to work with. So let's talk then about the Isle of Dorn. One thing you'll notice as you look through the gameplay footage is it does look pretty sparse. Now, they did tell us that it would look
It's alpha.
Like that. It's basically missing clutter, creatures, and a lot of those, so yeah, it did feel sparse. I'll say that the art direction so far I have quite liked. There is a cleanliness to the line work on the new earthen kit. Certainly,
the new earthen structures look freaking amazing.
Like, they just remind me a little bit of some Warhammer Dwarf things. I just think like their industry is all very cool. I'm seeing some of the vehicles,
look at that,
like the mech-like stuff that they can use.
Dwarven
really
mechs, baby.
Looking at the basics like the bridges, the gates, their buildings.
Ooh, that's cool.
I mean, one of the taverns basically looks exactly like the one in the Dunmorrow starting zone. But of course, lovely modern
it's
and
dwarven.
Earthen, so
yeah, it's
all
earthen
dwarven.
dwarven.
Nice. Now, listening to what devs were saying, it seems that everyone is chomping at the bit to get us to Hallowfall and Azj-Kahet.
Dude,
the latter especially. And
I gotta say, actually, if you listen to the everything you need to know about World of Warcraft thing that they did with Ian and the art director yesterday, they kept talking about that zone. Like, there's definitely stuff they're really proud of there. So and that's definitely more towards the end of things. They're definitely hyping people up for this destination.
Really nice thing is they talked about Azj-Kahet literally as being akin to Suramar. So that's to say that, well, these Nerubians, they're not just creepy, horrible, gnarly spiders. They are actually a very old race.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier.
For a very long time. And this is essentially them, like, yes, isolated, but also at quite a height of their power. Now, some of the footage that we were able to see, I don't think that we're able to share in this video, though. You can definitely see that in what they were showing off of Ashgahat. So, as a zone, that is certainly getting quite interesting to me. Looks pretty good. The next thing to talk about then is delves. Okay, so to catch you up, delves basically are a bit of a single-player dungeon, but they're done like seamlessly through the world. And
they showed like
will be hard enough to
you go into the zone, and it's like the line right there, and you just all of a sudden you're in your own instance
of the Great Vault. So fairly interesting system. We've only got a small look at them, but there's definitely a lot to say.
It reminds me of the skirmishes and instances. Hang on, let me pause this here. This reminds me of the skirmishes in Lord of the Rings Online, right? When you can pick the instance window, you get the drop down, you can choose. I want tier 1 difficulty, tier 4 difficulty. I want to do it with 2 people, 3 people, 6 people, 1 person. Sorry, 1 people's. You can do all of that in that skirmish/instance window for Lord of the Rings Online. This reminds me a lot of that. Looks really cool so far, and this is just the first iteration.
Mist door, and you enter it. There's no loading screen or anything. Definitely, to me, it reminds me of like walking through a mist door in Dark Souls. No loading screen. It feels slick. It definitely just quite modern. So I think that is fundamentally pretty damn cool. Now, we've seen a small number of delves, like 2, and only at tier 1 and 2. And on both tier 1 and 2, they honestly are complete brain-off cakewalks.
That's awesome.
That's because tier 1 and 2 are intended for leveling. Now, tier 2 does boost enemy health and damage by 25%. If that was just 25% per tier, and I've since was able to find out that there are, at least currently, 10 tiers of these, then it would be maxing out at a 225% multiplier on the power of enemies.
Well, that's awesome, but also rewards. Yeah.
So that should be plenty of challenge, but at the end of the day, for me, it's not just about numerical. As you go up the tiers, they add in more layers of like puzzles and traps. So far, I only saw a simple thing, which was like Nerubian webs, and you slow if you stand in them and they spawn spiders. But it does seem that there are essentially layers of trap-like mechanics. And
what if they do more mechanics for higher level difficulties too, like they do with mythicals and heroics?
At a higher tier. But again, this is something that's going to need extensive endgame testing. Now, going into these, you get Bran. Bran comes in DPS and healing configurations. He's got VO that he spouts out when you're there. He'll call out.
So it's like the followers in
sometimes loot.
Star Wars: Old Republic.
And he has an XP bar, so you will be able to level him up, make him more powerful. Another thing is treasures, right? So you will find treasures as you go through, and those treasures are a little bit like Torghast powers, which I very much like. I think that ideally, if a tier 10 delve can be properly challenging, but with there being enough room that just like in any good roguelite game, you can get just that little bit of good luck to just make you feel OP, then I think that would be quite a nice balance to strike. Now, you might be thinking, why are you describing what a delve is? Why are you talking around it? Why are you not saying, like, does it blow or not? And basically that's because I enjoy these well enough for a quick jaunt and leveling, but at leveling difficulty, you just don't get that much of a sense of the overall gameplay, right? So if you like doing open world map metas and that sort of thing, you'll probably be fine with these basic leveling ones. But for me, the higher tiers will be make or break. And that is where they have a serious challenge, and it's a challenge we've ran into before with Torghast. And it is essentially this: unavoidable damage. Unavoidable damage can be a big problem in games. It makes the high-end expression of your skill more about crowd control and sort of like that tanking gameplay, kiting and that sort of thing, rather more than like a lot of the positional gameplay and interrupting, right? There's a lot of very hard games that you can complete taking 0 damage, like I don't know if you're playing in like Dante Must Die and Devil May Cry. But funnily enough, part of this is why I liked Punderstorm's combat model, because so much of it is skill shots, that your own ability to move, to predict things, it does actually matter. So
there's always going to be some skill-based component to it.
GG, the unavoidable damage is massively scaled up, and you'll just have to survive that, and everything is a big health sponge. then I could see that being a drag, especially if you're playing solo. But if the scaling is instead focusing on the lethality of enemy skill shots and that sort of thing, then I think we could be cooking. But versus Torghast, there is one really good thing, and that is no timer. Because like with Mythic Plus
Yeah,
and Torghast, the difficulty model ran into a bit of a problem.
getting rid of the
where
timer
on one
is,
hand,
amazing.
unavoidable damage punishes large pulls. But the timer, well, that incentivizes large pulls.
I hate the timer.
Striking the balance there to get the optimal
I
result.
hate timers.
To some people, that's
Hate,
really
hate,
fun
hate, hate,
gameplay.
hate.
To a lot of others, though, it's just stressful and annoying.
It's very
if they
stressful
tune
and
this
annoying.
feature right, I think they could avoid that problem. So overall, where I'm left,
That's one of the
I
reasons
suppose
I've ignored
dipping my
Mythic
toes
all
in
the way up to the
delves
point
is
where I'm finally
I'm a
going to start
little bit
running
excited.
Mythic
I'm
Zero
cautiously
Dungeons
excited, though.
with the Season
It's
4
also
content
very
that's
clear
coming.
to me that the development team,
Because they've got rid of the
also
timers.
cautiously optimistic in this one. They've continually said that they really want feedback for this, right? Especially on the topic of difficulty. So look, as somebody who definitely identifies with playing lots of video games, I usually try to play them in like the harder difficulty. The leveling delves, like, they can initially underwhelm. If endgame doesn't do that, then I think we could be cooking. But again, the dose makes the
It remains, yeah. There's still months of testing ahead to find that fine tuning.
I would love to hop on an alt, and if I had something like, say, Horrific Visions that I could gear a character up on, then that would be really nice. So if the decent amount of difficulty, if that's something that I can just reliably do on an alt, I do think that this will be a successful system. I mean, a thing that I've loved about Plunderstorm is I can remember, like, I'm going for wins and kills in Plunderstorm, so it is pretty cognitively engaging, but it's fast, it's simple, and I can get straight in quickly. If Delves can essentially work for that play pattern, where I can just kind of immediately go do one, have a good time, maybe knock out one in my lunch break, that would be really, really nice.
It's awesome.
That's hard enough that I can properly learn how to play, like,
we were just talking about that, I think, last night.
Try out hero talents against content that, like,
I think it was last night, because I went and did LFR for the Fate of Mirdasil. I went in, and the total time of like the video was like 21 minutes and something, but a lot of that time was just, there was some talking, and pull, dead, and we did Tendril and Fearak. So we did both of those boss mobs. If you remove the talking, it was under 20 minutes. With the talking, it was like 21 and a half or something like that. And I was talking about how I love bite-sized chunks of content where you can go in and accomplish something epic, but have it still be something that can be done in 30 minutes or less. It doesn't have to be something that's, like, it doesn't have to be a random daily that takes 5 minutes. You can provide a good chunk of content like what he's talking, the Delves are basically providing players with, and that is a 15 to 30 minute chunk of content, depending on, do you want to run it on tier 1 or tier 10? Like, it's up to you where you fall on that scale. But the thing that I was really excited about when they were talking about the Everything You Need to Know video the other day, they talked about how delves, as well as dungeons, as well as raids, you have multiple options to work towards tier sets. But obviously it's going to be a grind no matter what option you take, but you'll have multiple ways to get there, including via the delves, which I think is a really cool option.
That actually matters, then we could be good. But again, testing. Warbands then. Okay, warbands will grow.
Yeah, we just covered warbands before
this.
Warbands
are basically only a foundation. Right now, they're very clearly just about things being account-wide, right? It's just very much trying to make things, like, easier, smoother from a player experience perspective. Just little touches like, looting Warbound gear that you can just send to an alt, that feels great. Filtering out quests that you've already done on your Warband, that's a fantastic quality of life feature. I mean, how many times do you log into Valdrakken on an alt and it's just quests everywhere and it's kind of annoying? So that's
really a legit
good.
thing,
I'm
Chris.
certainly more excited about the future though, with how the developers have.
Hang on, let me pause for a minute. Chris said, my wife and I have done a couple of companion dungeons and we had so much fun. We used to pass up the dungeon because of having to do pickup groups. So my brother and I are playing with my nephew on Thursday nights. And he's like, he'll be 9 soon. And he's, he gets it. He's been playing games since he was like, 4 years old, or earlier. I remember they started with like the Lego games on like the Xbox, one of my brother's old Xboxes. But I would never want to subject him to the looking for dungeon groups because of how fast everyone wants to go. And that to me is not toxic. That's just the nature. If I want to do something fast, here's a good example. We've been doing normal raids with our guild on Saturday nights since December, and those are meant to be taken at a slow pace, right? We're taking our time, we're spending a couple of hours, you know, sometimes a couple of hours on one mob. Sometimes it's two different sessions on a single mob, like as we learn the boss fights and everything else. Doing looking for raid the other day was like, this is the bite-sized version of that. Just take a bite and go do it. You don't have to worry about talking. You don't have to worry about any of that if you don't want to, but it's meant to be done quickly. So it's meant to be done at a fast pace. The option of follower dungeons means now that you have way more options now. It's like, what do you want to do tonight? Do you want to do something with your spouse, your significant other, your nephew, and do it with just the three of you and some NPCs? Great. Or do you only have 15 minutes? You want to get your daily done, so you go into the looking for dungeon, looking for raid. You do a quick pickup group that takes 15 minutes to do. You don't have to talk to anybody. You're just doing a quick blitz of the zone, and then you're gone. Or are you going to go do on a Thursday night? You're going to get together with 4 of your guildies, and you're going to do Mythic 10, or you're going to raid on Friday nights. Like, there are so many levels of accessibility now to World of Warcraft, and they're adding more with the follower dungeons that are already in and the delves that are coming up. So not only are we already going to have all the follower dungeons from Dragonflight and all the LFR and everything else, but also moving into War Within, you're not only going to have all of that for the new dungeons and raids, but also delves, which are independent of that system and provide another, I think, what did they say? Was it 12 or 15? I would have to go back to BlizzCon and or to like Wowhead or somewhere and like look up how many delves there's supposed to be, but I feel like it's 12 or 15 because I think there's like 4 zones and it's something like 3 delves, 2 or 3 delves for each zone, something like that. I would need to go confirm that.
I've been talking about it. I mean, they're essentially
It's great to be able to do things at your own pace.
It will be a lot more than just a quality of life feature eventually, and that it is a foundation of how they are building a mostly account-wide progress World of Warcraft going forward. The next thing to talk about then is hero talents, and shockingly, within a few days, I've not tested literally everything. Look, what is good though is how testable they are, and this is where they've done a cool thing with the alpha. So normally you get a talent point every level. This time round though, they actually give you the option to be leveled to 71 and then given all of your hero talent points, with them then scaling down your damage to compensate for the extra power. Now, what this essentially does, though, is it lets you begin pseudo-maxed out hero talent testing immediately. Now, if the alpha
just so you could test all the abilities,
6 weeks, with us only getting like level 80 pre-made characters in the beta, right? Well, being able to essentially fully test hero talents now, that gives them like 6 more weeks of impactful hero talent testing.
And data,
which I think is
just raw data.
Move. And it does bring me on to testing in general. So the way they're doing it is 1 zone per week, right? With all classes and hero talents, I believe. Basically, that just gives them more focused data. And once they're done with all of those zones, then true to, I suppose, the proper definition of a beta, it will be an end-to-end experience, including max level. Another thing that is actually kind of exciting is PvP. They confirmed that solo queue RBGs are the new standard format, which is great. And with that being the new standard format, they're adding a new battleground, right? What's good is they very much said that this is only the beginning. And essentially, it seems to me that they see battleground content, including sort of rated battleground content, as just being more broad appeal than
that's what we were just talking about, like more accessible. It's more content for more players equals more players playing your game.
That is definitely good to me.
It's great.
I think battlegrounds are really fun, and the way that you are also able to focus on an objective and that like broader scale position.
Akasar says I came back to my desktop, I was so confused, like where the hell is Bellular coming from?
There's more to it
as I'm watching Bellular's video.
Far more broad system, and if I can gear up a character doing that sort of thing, when by the way, I'm just getting conquest gear and buying whatever I want in a vendor, that actually seems like a good experience. So, to kind of wrap up vibes, Dragonflight kind of left me just shouting, where is the sauce? I don't really know what the sauce is.
I had a lot of fun with Dragonflight.
For lack of a better word, right? Like, the sauce, the Warcraft, the zestiness. I mean, at the top of the video, I said it was like it was supposed to be seasoned with salt and pepper, but instead of salt, they accidentally used sugar, right? That is where I think Dragonflight was, like, technically good, but it just didn't work out. Like it just didn't feel like what I really want to feel from Warcraft. What I'd say is
those
feeling a lot
airships look
more of
so
that.
cool.
I mean, the glimpses that I've had into Hallowfall and Ashket,
Hallowfall is the zone that they
those,
keep
like,
pushing.
man,
so
those look terrific.
It's gonna be
what they've
interesting.
shown of some of the dungeons, that stuff looks terrific as well, and just in a way where
Those airships,
it feels peak Warcraft, where if you told, say, younger you who was playing Wrath of the Lich King what was going on, you showed them Hallowfall, you showed them these Arathi human paladins, if you showed young me what is currently in the collections tab over on the alpha, I would be really excited. And then
I'm
there
excited.
are some bigger scale lore things. So this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but we do learn a little bit more background about the fall of Koresh. Koresh was the homeworld of the Ethereals, and what we learn is it had a world soul. That world soul began to sort of sing, to be radiant, much like Azeroth is right now, and very shortly after, that world fell to Dimensius, who Xal'atath is the harbinger of. We did a big chunky lore video on the whole story of Xal'atath.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go watch his lore video
after this.
Yes, I need to watch that video. I've never
really
heard
cool.
anything
And
about
looking
this.
into our first raid, we see a Void Ethereal. Of course, Locust Walker is playing a role with Illyria as well. And while it's not quite Argus, the idea of maybe jumping to Koresh as a patch zone, that would be really cool. It would certainly like set up the stakes for Midnight. Not by telling, but very much by showing a world that has been totally screwed. Now, when I was interviewing Holly, and again, I should have that up by Friday.
I think
she
he already
did speak
has
to
it up.
Dragonflight's weaker points in the middle
Maybe not.
with patch content not always feeling like super connected. Like she was keenly aware that 10.2.5 didn't have staying power as compared to other ones. I got the feeling that they are trying to learn and improve earnestly. Again, Dragonflight is a collection of game systems and mechanics, was terrific. It didn't feel like Warcraft, and that's what let me down. This stuff, though, I mean, both me and Matt, within like 15, 20, 30 minutes of just seeing what was going on in the Isle of Dorn quest, thought, okay, there is actually threat here. There are some Legion vibes in this questing. And obviously in Xal'atath, we have a villain that is actually well established, actually popular. When you look at the larger threat of Dimensius,
I've got so
like,
much
yeah,
lore that I've
he's
got to
not
get caught
really
up
a
on.
dude we spend a lot of time with, but we learn about him through Xal'atath, Illyria, Locust Walker, all established characters, stuff that can be done at a more reasonable pace. When the last Titan stuff happens,
Yes.
well, we've built up those Titan characters. We've built up Iridacron. You know, it does seem that we're just on an actual path here. So overall, I would say that I certainly like what I see. Don't pre-order based on that. I am cautiously optimistic, and for me, I trust that the raids will be good. I trust the dungeons will be good. My number one point of concern
I always have fun
is
in
that
dungeons.
delves are able to be hard enough so that players who actually want a sort of single-player-like challenge, of course, delves you can, I believe, do with a party of up to 3 people in total, with no role restriction. But I just want to be able to have faith that those can offer actual engaging gameplay instead of just being a big sleep fest. If they're able to achieve that, we're in a really good position. So, that is it for today's video. Of course, a big thanks to today's sponsor who helped pay for things like the microphone that I'm now getting that is better than the one we were using. That is replacing one that I donated to the City of London because I was too busy talking to Holly after the interview to put my microphone in my bag. Anyway, we've got a video coming out tomorrow, which will be pretty damn hype, going through all the lesser known
All right,
features
give that
and
a
sort of
like.
thing. If you want something to watch immediately, though,
And for those of you who are going to be following along, I'll have this up as its own episode cut out here after the fact. And I'll have a link down to this video below so you can go watch it at your leisure. Make sure to give him a like, follow along. He's got a ton of great stuff. I thought his video with Holly was already out. Let me go check his YouTube channel real quick. Take the whole channel. Because I could have sworn it like popped up as a thumbnail somewhere. Yeah, maybe not. But I know I guess there is a video coming out with Holly. Maybe it's on the Warcraft channel. I did see somebody's thumbnail out with Holly. So there is a video out there somewhere or coming in the pipeline. So we'll know more when we get closer to that. I can go ahead and go over here and come back here. So I was logged in before. I'm going to close that window down. Hang on. I think the one of the coolest things for me beyond warbands and everything else was just, if you haven't watched the adaptive flight video, it's the dynamic flight video is what it's called, that World of Warcraft launched on their channel. I think they said 443 or something like that mounts are going to be adaptive in the new system. Now, one of the interesting things is they did say that you'll only be able to switch over if you have fully explored the zones. So it sounds to me like the existing system that's in place, where the default is this manner of flying, but then the other version, which is the old way of doing things, you'll have to explore the entirety of the zone and get the achievement for, what is it, the Pathfinder achievement or whatever it's called. It sounds to me like that's still going to remain in place for the War Within, and so you'll still need to fully explore the zones to get the ability to switch between the two types of flight within that zone. At least that's the way it sounds to me from the wording I've heard so far on this system. We'll know more soon. So I talked about this at the beginning of the video, and since we're at the end, for those of you who might not have been here at the beginning, I'll reiterate what I'm going to be working on for the next few months, what the guild's going to be working on for the next few months, for those of you who want to stay up to speed with everything. So we're going to be wrapping up. We should be able to wrap up this Friday, or excuse me, this Saturday. We're going to be wrapping up the Fear Act fight and just be done with that completely and be ready to move on to Season 4, which means doing, the Fated Awakened stuff on Saturday nights, and then outside of that, on Wednesday nights, I'll be running a Mythic Zero group and streaming that. I'll be streaming and recording most of my sessions with my brother and my nephew. Those usually take place like Thursday nights. Like tonight, I already got confirmation from my brother that we're playing tonight, so I'll probably have a stream this evening, playing Warcraft with them. We're still in Enshrouded on the weekends, but we're anticipating that when the remix for Pandaria drops after Season 4, we're going to go back to doing Saturday and Sunday, like, morning sessions, or at least Saturday sessions, some sort of weekend morning sessions for the Panda characters. And I thought before I was going to do a shaman. But I've been watching more videos about the War Within, and the more I think about it, and especially after the adaptive flight video, the dynamic flight video and adaptive mounts video, seeing the disc, and then having people talk to me about some other discs, I think I'm gonna go with a gnome ice mage for the Panda. I have had the most fun with a mage build with the ice mage in the past. Compared to other like mage builds, so I think I'm gonna go try that when Panda rolls around. Now I can't create that character just yet because you have to create it as one of the seasonal characters for the Pandaria remix. So once that happens, we're gonna be starting some weekend morning sessions as well, and then we're still doing raids on Saturday nights. Right now we've been doing normal mode the past few months to try it all out, and we're down to the end. We want to move on to other things, so we're gonna start doing more LFR stuff as well. So we're doing a blending of, keeping true to the story roots and not worried about the sweatiness and the gear cracker and stuff. Plus, because everything's changing with Season 4, we're getting new gear tiers and everything else. So I think seeing the new Mythic Zero difficulty is going to be very interesting. I will be tanking that instead of playing DPS. What I don't know is if I'm going to be doing my warrior here or my druid in bear form. I would prefer to do this character so that I can have a second character kitted out a little bit, or a third character, because my hunter's got pretty good gear. I've got the best set of gear on my I can't remember what my eye level is on my druid. Like, is it 460? I don't think I'm 460. I'm like 458 or something. And I'm 454 on my hunter, and this guy's a paltry 425, so it'll be rough going in those first dungeons more than likely. We're gonna test it out, because if it is too rough of going, I'll just use my bear form. But that's a quick lowdown on what we're gonna be working on for the next foreseeable future. With the War Within ready to go, I do have the Epic Edition ordered. So at some point I'll be getting into Alpha, and the Beta. I don't know about Alpha. I think Alpha is invite only. and it's mostly for the big World of Warcraft creators, which I am not one of. But I do have beta access with my pre-order edition of the Epic edition of the War Within. So at some point I'll get into the beta, and as far as I'm aware, they're not going to have any restrictions on content creation and streaming. So I'll just have to pay attention to whatever their rules are around that. But cover that when we get to it. And prepping forward, I can't wait for the War Within, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. There's a lot of potential for this as the new foundation layer. I look at the World Soul Saga as one piece of content. I don't view it as 3 different expansions. So when I heard that they were doing it that way, it's kind of like the way I looked at when J. Michael Straczynski was doing Babylon 5. You know, it's being done as a whole series, not just one season. You know, so you have to look at the overall storyline for everything, and I'm really excited to take a peek at all that stuff. God, my guy's really hunkered down kind of into this. I guess it's because he's so small compared to the other characters that I have ride this thing. Usually it's like my Moonkin, which is almost as big as the bird itself. Man, I love dragonflying. Like, I was wanting to look... Where's it at here? Let's go up to the top. There's something I want to check here real quick. Because it's something they showed off in the video. Hang on, before we do that, I need to... make sure that that is done. Where's it at? I think it's over here if I'm not mistaken. There's just something I want to take a look at really quick. Because when you dive bomb off of here, somewhere over here is that, I think it's right there. So if you can imagine, this is what they're doing for the War Within. The verticality is exactly what you're going to see right here. Because we're going to fly down through here. Here we are in the cavern. Now everything they've shown us so far from the War Within is that it's this, but on a much more massive scale in just terms of the verticality of everything.
Slime, one of the best smellies.
And the size of these underground zones, because this is big.
Niffin have a special way of gathering some.
This is impressive. Like, this is very, very impressive. But everything we've seen so far with the War Within is magnitudes larger. Can we get all the way up there and land on one of these things? I probably don't have enough juice to get up there. Anyway, I just wanted to show that off and talk about it a little bit more. Hang on, I got a bunch of messages in Discord I gotta go check out real quick. All right, checking some stuff in Discord. All right, I would like to go. Probably. Where are we at here? I'm always so amazed when I come down here. Just the look of the cavern is just so cool. I don't know that I've ever come down here with this character, so I was getting all those like exploration achievements because I just ran down here. I don't think we've been down here since we did this raid like several months ago, and it was on other characters. One thing I can tell you I'm really happy they're getting rid of is the glyph requirement to get more dragon riding skills. It's going to be part of the leveling process now. This place looks so awesome. Like, I understand why it didn't have it, but I could have had imagined Moria in Lord of the Rings Online having some sort of expansion like this. That would have been, you know, having some sort of a zone looking like this in the Moria areas. All right. Well, in terms of prep, everybody, we're still winding down through Dragonflight. Like I said, we've got a pretty good schedule ironed out for the next few months. I need to go see here. We've got stuff we could do. Oh, you know what I should do while I'm sitting here on this character, because I haven't done it? I gotta remember how to get over to the gear upgrade thing over in Tierhold, because I don't remember if I have anything I can upgrade with this character or not, but I'm gonna go over there and check while we're here. And then, being as this is the character I'm going to be working through Season 4, I think, I'm like 90% sure that I'm going to use this character for the Wednesday night groups. Unless it just proves impossible. Oh yeah, the dynamic flight stuff is awesome, Pixie. It's going to be great. People are super excited now. We've been able to see that in full effect. Good times ahead. I love the new icon system they're talking about adding to. They were talking about that in the video yesterday. So being able to sort through all the icons on your map. I may be misremembering, but I'm wanting to think it was right here. I think I remember correctly. I don't know that I've unlocked it with this character, or does it matter? I don't think I have anything that can be upgraded, but I figured I'd take a look. Yeah, I don't have anything other than the gauntlets. I probably don't have enough why not?
What's up, Seraphim? Chris is gonna go grill some fish soon. I'm gonna go run around on my warrior, check a few things out, see if there's any gear I want to pick up. Look at the view from up here, man. Alright, let's go check out if there's anything I need to buy. I don't know. I haven't gotten on this character in so long. I just need to see if there's anything. That's a pretty impressive. Hang on, I wanna go back over here for a second. So if you look over here at Tierhold, look at the fact that this water comes down right this aqueduct right here, right? This one right here. Check that shit out. It goes all the way down. We could follow that aqueduct all the way down over to the city, man. If you don't think that's impressive world building, you got another thing coming, man. That's impressive. It's good stuff. Dragonflies. Just, I love flying around. Ah, feels good. No, I don't do battle pets. I need to finish my tutorial series on that, but I have not. Oh, Pippin's waking up. I gotta pay attention. I think she's just turning over. You're right, baby. That's a good girl.
Our flight has much to offer.
What are shields under? Miscellaneous? No. Armor, miscellaneous, shields. There we go. I doubt I'm gonna find anything that I can afford. Because what am I using right now? Zora's Ward, which is 428. Yeah, I'm not going to find anything better than that on the market. I'm going to have to get that thing upgraded through crafting or something. Or just through gear drops. Might as well check for trinkets. Yeah, they're so expensive though. I'm not going to spend that kind of money. Because I'll be able to get them pretty quick. The chipmunk filter? Have I been shrunk down? I wasn't even paying attention. I'm just tiny. I may have as good as I could have gotten the other day. Holy crap, 150k for that ring. That's crazy. I got 428s, I'm good there. Let's check for swords really quick. If there's issues, that's going to be on your end. It's not anything on my end. What does this look like? Nah.
You have a bright future.
I honestly think we're as good as we're going to get in terms of the gear stuff. What is this right here? Mechanism bypass. We can get that out of the way. How did I have this set up? Oh, I needed more potions. I remember now. Locate. Bam! I have no idea what would be causing that, folks. Maybe refresh your page. Hang on. I got more stuff in Discord I gotta check out real quick. Try talking in a deeper voice to counteract the high-pitched audio. It's YouTube. The Twitch stream is normal. Okay. Yeah, who knows? Why am I so small all of a sudden?
I have been expecting you.
Yeah, it sounds like it's only YouTube that's got an issue right now. But I'm live on YouTube and Twitch, so. To Mordenkin. Mountains of Thaldraszus would make excellent roosts. I guess I've never paid attention before because I'm always in Night Elf form with my other characters, and my Night Elf is much taller. They're much bigger than humans, I guess. So I don't ever notice it. And I've been playing Night Elves for like the last 6 months. I haven't played anything short. So that's a good point. Dragons in their human form, much bigger than normal humans.
You stand before the Black Prince. Azeroth faces many threats.
Location for the Netherwing to roost. I'd like to show our guests some of the sights of Eldrak and meet you there. Travel to the cave above the Sandlost Sanctum in Thaldraszus.
Every action has consequences.
That target.
One second, guys. So Frodo was just like at my office door, I guess, begging to come in, and I just had to situate him on the bed so he's not bothering his sister. Does he have something in his eye? Hey, is Mary inside or outside? Everybody should be inside. Parte do. So Leia está afuera. ¿Y Dora? Blanca aún está dentro. Ok, no deja la serie. Y cheque si Mary es atrás de las cajas, por favor. Gracias. All right. Going up there. There we go. Ah! Now, why is it not? Hang on. Land! Damn it! There we go. It wasn't wanting to let me use. Okay, there we go. I was looking at the wrong thing. Oh, it switched the. I know why. I hadn't used this mount before on this character, and so my hotkey was in a different place. There we go. I was like, why is my number 3 button not working? What the fuck is going on? Oh, I'm not gonna make it. This sucks. Hang on. I almost didn't make it. What's up, Goose Handfuls? How are you doing? Alright. Hang on, guys. I gotta type stuff out. I got stuff to do. Why is this thing attacking me? Leave me alone.
Do you trust me? Never let your guard down.
There seem to be far more spiders than the last
The
time.
Black Talon are always watching. Speak your mind. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Okay, there we go. I was talking to the wrong NPC, I think.
We have
Hill, Spider Queen. And a bunch of these things.
Attack that. I can't attack that alone.
Meow, meow, moo. How many of these do I need? I gotta kill 100. Bam! Bam, bam, bam! I have not played this character in so long. I gotta get used to the rotation again before Wednesday night. I think it's pretty easy to get back into, to be honest with you. That shield smash sound is so good. It's just a nice big what bam! What bam! Excuse me. Good times. Alright, we need one more of these thingies.
I need a target.
Speak quickly.
Alright, got some goodies.
That is your choice.
Alright, do I have any of the turn-ins? What is this one? I'm only gonna do turn-ins right now. Just clear stuff out of my quest journal. We got a long flight ahead of us. Oh shit, I got sidetracked. Went too far. Hang on. Turn around. Definitely want to take the portal at the bank. Alright, where was this turn in at? Oh, not too far away.
What brings you?
Apparently I had quests I had to turn in that I didn't know. Gunnar says I tried following your guide and leveling through expansions, but it's just too much for me. There's a lot of expansions. You're talking about the time walking video I did like 4 or 5 months ago. The problem is they don't tell you, like, not all of the time walking campaigns are jump right in and you start that campaign. Here's an example. Like Battle for Azeroth or Shadowlands, like when you start those expansions, it's a linear experience through that expansion. Cataclysm as an example, the way they do the time walking Cataclysm campaign is you can choose that from Chromie, but the first 30 levels, you have to level up to level 30 before you unlock the quest that allows you to travel to the Cataclysm zones. So the first 30 levels of you being in the Cataclysm time walking campaign, you're not doing Cataclysm. You're doing old world content. You're just doing the old world zones, leveling up to level 30. So you could choose to do the first 30 levels anywhere you wanted to, and then just hop into the Cataclysm campaign. Something that I think would be a smarter option, and I haven't made a video on this yet, but I think it would be a better idea of just pick a storyline that sounds fun to you and just look at it that way. And if it's really old world stuff like Cataclysm, you're probably going to have to do some leveling before you can start the content. But I think starting with Pandaria, they put you right into the content right away. So you're just leveling through those zones from level 1 if you start a Panda. So it's weird. Every expansion is a little bit different. For sure. Alright, do I have any other quests I need to turn in? Oops. I don't think I do. Ooh, I do have a quest to slay Firak. I do not want to tank that fight, though. Should we do that? I would need to spec over to... Why do I have a Titan relic? Alright, this is my DPS spec, so I could go run it. I don't want to tank it, for sure. You tried Burning Crusade, went to Hellfire Peninsula, spent 10 levels just doing fetch quests? Hey, it happens sometimes. Fetch quests happen everywhere. By the way, guys, did the audio on YouTube ever sort itself out? I haven't heard anybody say anything the last few minutes, so I don't know if it's fixed and we're all over on Twitch or what the case is. I don't see anything on my end at all, and Twitch seems to be fine, so it just appears to be a YouTube problem. Alright, it fixed itself? Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and queue up. I got nothing else to do this morning. Fate of a Murdersill. Nope, leave queue. Hang on, I was marked as a tank. Do not want to be marked as a tank. Fuck that. Oh no. Hell to the no, no, no. Hang on, wait a minute. Group finder, Fate of a Murdersill. I'm marked as DPS. Find group. Alright. I just did this yesterday with my hunter. We did it in like 20 minutes, but I don't know if it's going to be the same over here. I mean, I think that's just dependent on everybody's. Everybody's got a different thing they like to do. I very much like going through and exploring from a story perspective. God, Chris is cooking something that smells absolutely freaking delicious. I'm gonna have to go get a snack. I'll be right back. She's cooking up some fish. Grilling up some fish and veggies, man. I don't know what you've tried to play, Gunner, but if you've played what expansion are you trying to play? Because if you're starting from scratch and you're playing Battle for Azeroth, it's very linear. If you're trying to play it from a Chromie standpoint, yeah, but if you're playing the default, it's Battle for Azeroth, and it's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after linear quests. It's just linear all the way. So I'm not sure what confusion there might be unless you're doing time walking. Time walking is a cluster F, man. That's old school content. If you're playing retail, Battle for Azeroth is you go do a few quests, you get a cutscene, do some more quests, get some more cutscenes. Oh, you want to play from the beginning? Good luck with that. World of Warcraft does not have a linear. They don't have that mapped out linearly. They do from Battle for Azeroth onwards. Like Battle for Azeroth into Dragonflight is a linear curve, and then going straight into the War Within, that's all been very linear. But before, all the expansions were sort of standalone things. So if you want to experience the story from the beginning, that's kind of a... They have not done what Final Fantasy did, which was crunch everything down into these 250 main quests that you need to do. And I doubt they will ever do it. Yeah, if you're wanting that from the beginning, you'll have to watch lore videos because they haven't that style, that cinematic style of gameplay didn't really start until Pandaria, but really more so Battle for Azeroth. Like they started doing more cinematic stuff in Pandaria, but they really leaned into it with Battle for Azeroth. Because for me, Battle for Azeroth onwards plays like Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is amazing. I love it. I have not set up the raid panels on this character, so they all have, that's a weird coloring.
We are on a strict timetable. You will not interfere. See what becomes of those who stand before you.
I need to change these colors, but it's not going to happen right now. I'm in the middle of a fight because I don't remember where you click to change the colors. I haven't played this character in months, so...
You again! A pity I do not have time to eradicate you myself. See to their deaths, Tindral. Feel free to make it excruciating.
My pet switched over too. Gosh darn it.
Their screams shall be music to your ears.
Watch your step.
AFK check, AFK check. Yeah, I've got the wrong mount up.
Your usefulness has ended.
Target you. AOE incoming. Watch your step. Target you. AOE incoming. Watch your step. Phase change.
There we go. I've never done it from the tank perspective. This is really interesting.
Phase 2. Target you. AOE incoming.
Rise from carnage! In fire!
AOE incoming.
Get the seeds, buddies. Grab your seeds.
Target you. AOE incoming.
Rise from carnage! In fire!
AOE incoming. Phase change. Pushback.
Right as the seeds happened, that was awesome.
Blazing sky!
Phase 3. Target you. AOE incoming. Watch your step.
Oh, I got hit.
Rise from carnage!
Target you. AOE incoming. Target
Get
you.
them seeds. Get the seeds.
AOE incoming.
Rise from carnage!
Watch your step.
Okay.
My people.
Ashes to ashes. What a pity. When you are ready to die, find me. I await you on the cusp of my ascension.
I can't attack that target.
Why did it? That was weird. And I went to the wrong place. Not ready. What's up, Sparrow? I have no idea what's here. I just had the quest in my quest journal, so I was like, I'll come do it.
You burn better than you fight.
Where is the darn portal? I always forget where the portal is. I see it. I've never done this from a melee perspective. This is going to be really interesting.
AOE incoming.
Waiting for a spark. I need to get all to my right.
Watch your step. AOE incoming.
Waiting for a spark. Fall to my right.
Run.
Y'all are fucking idiots. They're just standing in the middle of it. This one, alright, nobody knows the mechanics on this particular one. When I did this the other day, everyone knew what to do. This is interesting.
Watch your step. Run.
Fall to my right.
AOE incoming.
Waiting for a spark. Fall to my right.
Run.
Burn.
It's a legendary axe.
Another falls to Virulon.
Oh, that's a small percent chance if that's the case.
Fall to my right.
Raise charge.
Good effort. Maggot. The world will be remade in flame.
Phase 2.
The heart is mine.
Run.
By fang or by axe, I will tear you asunder!
Surrender, Farak. You cannot win.
Keep dreaming, little one. Your mother is not here to save you. Destruction reign! Must not fall. Run and
Axe
hide, weakling.
No one's getting the end. I wasn't paying attention to it either.
Run.
Feel the fight of Firala! All to my wrath! Our lives are sworn to a miracle.
The dream will never yield to you, monster.
In your last moments will be a nightmare! All to my wrath! Destruction reigns! Must not fall. Run and
Ads
hide, weakling!
Our lives are sworn to a Neanderthal.
Run.
Feel the fight of Firala! This tree will not fall. It's too far away. I need to get
A Neanderthal is under my protection, Bee.
attack that target. How did your protection work out for your children? All to my wrath! Run and hide, weakling!
Phase 3.
Alright, guys better dispel.
Reference code.
I wanted the achievement. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Reference code.
What is an achievement for? I'll have to go look it up here in a minute. I wasn't paying attention. Had to get roasted at least once.
Reference code.
Having never done this on melee, I'm a little like, oh, where do I need to stand? That was awesome. I just wasn't paying attention to the roar. Got caught.
Reference code.
You
They got it.
Alex Straza.
There we go.
What has happened?
Something unexpected.
All right, we got some pants, leather. Death Knight Loric Demon Hunter. I think we have to go back out to the Emerald Dream to do the turn-in. If I don't remember, if I don't forget, if I haven't forgotten, I need to learn how to talk. Yeah, there's something to turn in all the way over there. Turn in here.
I will listen. Safeguard all life.
I can't use that.
One more up here. Oh, what is this? It's a bit of an upgrade. No, I want to keep those for now, because those are my chain. I just need to upgrade those. Can I upgrade over here? I always forget.
I'm sorry. Did you need something? Never a dull moment with you.
Honored to meet you.
How high can I go? Is it only 2 of 8, 3 of 8, 4 of 8? I got a bunch of stuff I could spend. I could go up to 5 of 8, which would take them to... Yeah, why not?
Fair skies and strong winds.
Okay.
May you find what you seek.
Can you still get gear if you die? Yeah, you totally can. So I need a couple more pieces. I need a lot more pieces to get my set. But it was a nice run. Do I have any more turn-ins? I don't think I do. I think that's it as far as yeah, as long as as long as the kill happens, even if you're down, you still get loot on it. However, if there are things on the corpse like quest items, the flight stones, and other things, you need to physically loot the corpse. So you need to make sure that if you do die in an instance like that, that you're either going to respawn back there, or that you have a way to get back to loot the body, or someone can res you. I want to go check one more thing. Oh, you know what I do need to do though? Go back to protection stands. And that's probably going to reset a couple of items. No, I think we're good. So that's why it was, yeah, showing me that was an upgrade, which is not true. So much stuff in the sky. Through the door, through the door, through the door! Oh! Can't believe I made it. I don't know if there's any other pieces that I can upgrade here. Yeah, I've upgraded all the stuff I can. Okay, so I think we're as good as we're going to be able to get this character before next Wednesday. So that's good. I'm going to double check Discord, make sure I don't have anything going on I need to pay attention to. Nice. All right, everybody. I am going to wrap it up here. Chris has got fish and veggies ready, some taters. So I'm going to go have some lunch, and then I think I'm going to take a nap because I am zonkered out. And what is it right now? What time is it? It's noon. I'll possibly be back tonight with another stream. Let's see. It's noon now. Something could happen in the afternoon. I'd like to do some more Fallout 4 today before I do World of Warcraft tonight. So more than likely there will be a Fallout 4 stream later this afternoon. It won't be early afternoon like it has been the past few days. Past few days I've been doing like 1 to 3, noon to 3, somewhere in there. That's not going to happen today because I had to go to the supermarket this morning. So some way, shape, or form I'll be back this afternoon. And we'll do something. Probably some more Fallout 4. And then I don't know if I'm going to stream Warcraft tonight or not, but I am going to be playing with my brother and my nephew. So, I'll catch you guys later. If you liked what you saw here today, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you're on YouTube, and if you're watching over on Twitch, follow along there, hit that sub button, etc. If you want to support Bitch Cheers and subs over on Twitch, and Super Chats and memberships on YouTube, thanks to those of you who can and do, keeps me on the air full time so that I can do this and provide entertainment to everybody. Appreciate it. Don't forget the Discord, the Patreon, and I will see everybody